Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. So I literally just got back from this incredibly long, exhausting trek high up into the jagged peaks, and, well, I brought something back with me. A lesson. A life-changing, deeply grimdark fable passed down by this solitary figure known only as the Philosopher of the Mountain. Today we're going to walk through the shadowy, desolate ruins of this hermit sanctuary, and I'm going to share a philosophy with you that will absolutely upend how you view your place in the world. Seriously, prepare yourself, because this isn't some uplifting story of triumph. We're taking a real journey into the shadows here.
Okay, let's dive into this. Right out of the gate, we're hit with the chilling reality that this hermit lived by. I mean, just imagine spending decades in total isolation, surrounded by literally nothing but wind and stone, only to arrive at this singular, inescapable conclusion. We spend our whole lives desperately trying to leave a mark, right? Seeking some kind of validation from the cosmos. But the hermit? He looked at the world and saw something entirely different. He saw a void that just straight up does not care.
Section 1. The Jagged Peak. Let me set the scene for you here. Picture an ancient, crumbling ruin perched right on the very edge of this obsidian cliff. Up here, completely removed from the hustle and bustle of society, the hermit just sat there watching a line of ants. They were struggling, working themselves to the bone to carry a dead moth toward their mound. To most of us, well, that's just nature. But to the Philosopher of the Mountain, this was the absolute tragic mirror of human ambition. All of our building, our striving, our desperate attempts to amass wealth and legacy, he equated all of it to those ants hauling a carcass. It's just an exercise in tireless vanity.
Section 2. The Hall of Mirrors.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contrast between how we see ourselves and how the hermit sees us. We really like to think of the self as this beautiful, polished temple, don't we? We decorate it with our achievements, our likes, our dislikes, our carefully curated personal brands. But the hermit, he strips all of that away. He argues that the ego isn't a temple at all. Actually, it's more like a shadowy hall of mirrors, meticulously designed by our own minds just to distract our souls from looking at the terrifying, looming shadow of the void. He used to whisper this eerie warning out to the cold mountain wind. He'd say that a man who seeks his reflection in a mountain stream is a fool. Think about that imagery for a second. A man leans way over the rushing dark water, utterly captivated by his own image, and he is completely ignoring the dangerous currents threatening to pull him right under. And why exactly is he a fool? Because the water is fleeting. It rushes by and then it's just gone. The man is fleeting too. He's going to age and turn to dust. Human importance is a complete and total illusion. And yet, as the hermit observed, that fool will ultimately drown, fighting against the current, just trying to save the fragile image of his own self-importance. I mean, wow. It is a heavy, crushing realization when you really think about it.
Section 3. Doctrine of the Divine Joke.
The doctrine of the divine joke. The belief that the universe's only constant is its complete indifference to those within it. That doesn't really sound like a standard academic theory, does it? No, it reads more like a forbidden, ancient law of the universe carved right into the stone of that jagged peak. The joke is on us. We construct these massive, elaborate narratives where we're the main characters of the cosmos. But the reality? The universe is simply a silent, indifferent theater. The hermit had this sharply mocking tone when it came to the village elders down in the valley. The elders would sit around their cozy fires and speak so grandly about destiny. But the hermit, he just laughed at them. To him, destiny was a comforting fairy tale. It was merely a name people invented because they were too weak, or maybe too afraid, to admit that life is actually just a chaotic series of lucky accidents followed by inevitable decays.
So the crucial point is this deeply liberating, albeit bleak, truth. True wisdom isn't found in building massive monuments to your own ego. No, it's found in the liberation of realizing that the stars up above absolutely do not blink when you succeed, and the earth beneath your feet, it doesn't shudder when you sin. You are totally free from the burden of cosmic importance, because at the end of the day, your monuments mean absolutely nothing.
Section 4. Torches in the Dark.
Picture the sun dipping below the horizon, plunging those jagged peaks into a deep, oppressive blackness. From his high vantage point, the hermit would look down at the valley and watch the travelers frantically lighting their little torches, and he would actually laugh at them.
He saw their little fires not as a practical tool for survival, but as a metaphor for their desperate, fragile hope. They were terrified of the dark, using these tiny sparks to pretend the shadows weren't closing in.
To the philosopher of the mountain, the darkness was something to be revered. He genuinely believed the darkness was the only honest thing left in the whole world. Because unlike the Hall of Mirrors, unlike the rushing stream, the darkness doesn't pretend to be more than it is. It is absolute. It is true.
Section 5. Riddle of the Void.
Right before I left his sanctuary, the hermit shared a final, incredibly cryptic test with me. Listen closely to these words and really let their heavy truth sink in for a second. I build no monuments, yet I outlast the stone. I tell no lies, for I have no voice. The brighter your torch, the larger I loom. Embrace me, and you become everything by becoming nothing. What am I? Take a second, think about the shadows. Think about the deep, indifferent universe.
The answer is the void, the vast empty canvas upon which the divine joke is played. It's a chilling, awe-struck realization when it hits you. The harder we fight it with our little torches of ambition, the larger its shadow becomes. And this brilliantly illustrates the hermit's final descent into true, grim, dark wisdom. It's a complete path to liberation. First, you gotta stop trying to be the hero of a story that has no author. Destiny doesn't exist. Second, instead of fighting the darkness with a fragile little torch, become the laughter in the dark. Be the witness to the grand absurdity of it all. And finally, understand that embracing the void, being nothing, is actually the highest form of being everything.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with the exact same question the philosopher of the mountain left me. Look closely at your own reflection. Are you going to continue fighting the current, destined to drown while trying to save the fragile image of your own importance? Or will you finally drop the torch, embrace the absolute honesty of the shadows, and become the laughter in the dark?